Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and I know this is a video a lot of you guys have been waiting for. This is my Galaxy XR video showing off wireless PCVR streaming using virtual desktop, but unfortunately, I was holding off on making this video for the last couple days because I wanted to see if things would improve on virtual desktop and the way that this is performing, especially when I compare it to my other headsets like the Play for Dream headset, which is running very similar specs to this. And I love virtual desktop. I use virtual desktop across all platforms like the Quest 3, like Play for Dream, and now this headset as well. I love what it does. I love that they have all these cool environments that you could watch 3D movies, that you can play wireless PCVR from Steam, from Oculus and everything. But unfortunately, as the bearer of bad news, it's just not in a good state right now. Comparatively to other headsets out there, and I'm going to show you the settings that I'm running. I'm going to show you how I've gotten it to run a little bit better than it was before, but at the end of the day, it's just not in a great state for Android XR and wireless PCVR streaming. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming tech is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
Alright guys, so here we are with virtual desktop as you guys are looking at here, and I wanted to show you guys first thing what these settings are that we're getting, because virtual desktop, as I alluded to, is unfortunately in a bad state right now on Google XR, and I don't know if it's a issue with virtual desktop itself or if it's an issue with Google XR, because there's some things that virtual desktop has talked about that could be what the issue is. Some of the things that virtual desktop has come out in their Discord and said, and that's why I was kind of holding off on making this video, but there's been a lot of you guys out there who have been clamoring for me to make this video to see how PCVR is working on here. So I figured it was that time to go ahead and show you and just show you, what settings work better than others, at least for the time being. Now, of course, I expect this stuff to be fixed, whether it's virtual desktop updates or Google XR, but it's definitely not in a great state right now. I mean, you can see I'm just sitting in the home menu right now, and that latency is going anywhere from 60 all the way up to like over 100 sometimes, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here at the home menu. And of course, I have experience with using virtual desktop. The quality that I'm running these games at right now, that you guys are going to see currently, on the Galaxy XR is the same settings that I use on the Quest 3. It's the same settings that I use on the Play for Dream. And the Play for Dream headset, which we're going to be doing a comparison video and comparing it to this headset from top to bottom, which is a close competitor to this product that also runs Android, but not Android XR. It's running a proprietary Android on top of Android. Is running these exact same settings and performing a lot better. So it's obviously a mixture of maybe virtual desktop issues along with Google XR, and they've said things like Google XR isn't running optimally because it's kind of throttling and stuff like that, that they're working with Google to kind of get ironed out, because the throttling is causing issues with why these numbers are going up and down and stuff like that. So there's a lot to get into here, but I at least wanted to show you guys the current state. Now, of course, stay tuned, because I will be making an updated video once things are running better on virtual desktop, and we'll be making follow-up videos, so make sure you subscribe and follow me for that. But I promised you guys a video today on Monday, so this is what I'm doing, but it is not in a great state right now. Let's go ahead and first show you the settings that I'm running. And again, these are the same settings that I am using on other platforms like Play for Dream that work perfectly fine. But we are going to try alternate settings as well. So if I grab my mouse here, you can see on preferred codec, I'm using H.264 Plus, and I'm using the VDXR runtime, which is what they recommend you use. And then if you go to advanced, it is running at VDXR render resolution 144 hertz or 144%, which is the same thing I'm running on Play for Dream that has pretty much the same hardware as what the Galaxy XR is running. So this is the same way I run Play for Dream. And so that's pretty much it on there. And then if I close that out and I go ahead and open the Steam VR settings, you can see it's just not running great. Like, you can see how bad all of this is kind of stuttering and stuff like that as I move around. And this is just the home environment. There's nothing even going on right now. Look at the way that the latency is jumping up. So you can see here the refresh rate is at 72. It's running at 200 resolution. You can see the render resolution at the bottom here on the screen is 150%. It's running at monster settings right now. You can see if I put this up to my face here, you can see 72 hertz for frame rate. You can see average FPS. You can see my GPU usage is only 52%. You got to remember I'm running at 5090 like I showcased before. And yeah, this is, now you can't unfortunately see the overlay that virtual desktop shows in front of me, but It is running at 71 frames a second right now. The latency is spiking all the way from 45 to over 100 randomly. It is running at the max bit rate of 600 megabits per second, which is exactly what it should be on. And you can see the Steam VR, that's the resolution that we get on here. I didn't adjust the resolution per eye. This is automatically set by Steam VR when you launch it, which is a very similar resolution to what I get on the Play for Dream. And like I said, it's just not running great. I mean, when you're getting this high of a latency just sitting here on virtual desktop, look how the latency spikes up. Well, I forgot, you guys can't see that, but it just spiked up to over 100 when I'm moving, and now 123 milliseconds, 150, now spiked all the way back down to 60, now it's spiking all the way back up to 85. So it's just not running great. Now, the good news is that I can get this to run a lot better than that with these exact settings, but it is a bug or a glitch that the virtual desktop folks did let us know how to fix. And you can see I'm back in here now. I have turned off 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. I am back in a Steam home environment, and you can see things are a lot more stable now than they were before. You're at 72 frames a second. I'm not stuttering and going all over the place, and my latency is still something you guys can't see again because the overlay for virtual desktop doesn't show up, but my latency is still spiking all over the place. It will sit at 50, which is where I would want it to be, 45, 50 right now. I get lower than that sometimes just sitting on the Steam home menu with other games, but it is still spiking all over the place. It will go from sitting here at 45 to spiking all the way up to 80, sometimes spiking all the way over to 100 again. So obviously, again, it's not running great, but it is running at a smooth 72 frames per second. Like you guys can see here, if I pull this in front of me, you can see my GPU is only using 69% of it while running in here, and my latency just spiked to 160 milliseconds right now. And now it just went all the way back down, went all the way back up to 120, all the way back down again to 75, and I haven't moved. You can see I'm not doing anything this whole entire time. So again, we're in a bad state for PCVR streaming on the Galaxy XR, but I will show you a couple of games of gameplay just to show you guys. I will make an updated video, of course, when this stuff gets fixed, so all hope is not lost. Virtual Desktop knows. I reported it to them. I don't know if it's an issue with them or if it's an issue with Google XR. It could be a combination of both. They're talking about it being throttling issues on Google XR, and they're reaching out to Google to get that stuff fixed. So it could be that. It could be, you know, a bunch of variety of issues that we'll just have to wait and see how this stuff plays out. But you guys have been clamoring for me to make a video, and I've been holding out as long as possible to get some time to get this stuff fixed. And obviously, it's just not in a good state of affairs right now. So I'm going to go ahead and show off the game that I show off a lot when I'm trying PCVR right now, because it's a very great looking game and it's a really easy game to show off on here, which is Kayak VR Mirage. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch this right now. So here we are, we're in Kayak VR Mirage, and you can see 72 frames a second, 77 GPU usage, and got my controllers in front of me. We're gonna go ahead and do a tour during the day just to take a look at this. We're not gonna do anything crazy. And here we are on Kayak VR Mirage on the Galaxy XR device, and even when I'm turning my head, it is going crazy. It's stuttering at 153 milliseconds right now, and it just went all the way back down to 72 milliseconds, and it's kind of sitting there. And every time I move my head left and right, it is spiking, going 190 milliseconds, and it's just all over the place while doing this, and it's a stuttery mess. Nobody would want to do this, and nobody would want to play this like this. It's just all over the place with these settings, and it's obviously not working well. And the encoding, so the networking is sitting at 10 milliseconds. The decoding is sitting at 22 milliseconds right now, but that's when it's at its lowest. Right now, encoding went to 50, networking went all over the place, decoding is going all over the place. So obviously this is having a really hard time keeping up. And like I said, the game looks fantastic in here if I don't move and the milliseconds go down, but obviously there's a lot of issues, and this is a game that I'm not even moving in. Imagine trying to play a game like Beat Saber or something that you need to use your hands with. It's going to be horrible to play a game like that. I mean, it's just not going to work well. And when I turn my head, boom, it shoots up to 200 milliseconds as soon as I turn my head, and it, you know, doesn't run great. And again, I like to reiterate that these are the same settings that I use on Play for Dream. It has very similar hardware, and it's just not running well on here. But we're going to go ahead and take it a step further now. So I'm going to go ahead and close that game, and I'm going to go ahead and we're going to attempt to make this run a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of SteamVR again. We're going to go back into virtual desktop here, and we're going to go ahead and change this. We're going to go ahead and set this, instead of the H.264 codec, we're going to go ahead and change this to HVAC 10-bit, which a lot of people also use. We're going to leave everything else the same. This doesn't let you use the max bit rate that we were talking about before. The max bit rate here is 200 instead of 600 that it was before. So, you know, the quality won't be as good, but it is running a lot smoother than the other method was. So if we go ahead and switch back to VR here, and now we're in the Steam VR menu, you can see again 72 frames per second, 79% GPU usage. We're getting a frame rate that's solid, and the latency currently is sitting at 57 milliseconds. Now, that's not terrible, but it's still lower milliseconds than I get on other headsets like Play for Dream and the Quest, even though I'm running at lower settings. So this is running at max bitrate 200. And again, my router is sitting 2 feet away from me, completely wired. So is my PC. It has nothing to do with my network. It's a Wi-Fi 7 router. It's not the router or the network, because I have other headsets with the exact same settings from before that work great. And I'm not even using my Wi-Fi 6, because you can see how bad that ran before on virtual desktop. So I'm relying on Wi-Fi 5 gigahertz, because that's what I was told to use by the virtual desktop devs for the time being. And right now, milliseconds are going from 55 to 70. And these milliseconds would be sitting at 35 to 45 if I was running the higher settings that I was running before on Play for Dream. So even with these lower settings, I'm still getting, you know, better performance than I was before, but still not good performance from a headset that should be delivering a lot more based on, you know, other headsets that I've tried using the same metrics. So I'm going to go ahead and reopen Kayak VR Mirage, and I'll describe to you the latency that I'm getting and stuff like that, so you guys can take a look and see how this is running. All right, so we are in Kayak VR Mirage again. We're hitting A to start. We're going to do the exact same one. We're going to do the tour. We're going to do during the day. All right, now we're in Kayak VR Mirage right now, and it is currently sitting at 71 milliseconds, so a lot better than the 200 plus we were getting before. When I turn my head right now, this is definitely running a lot better. Graphics are fantastic, as expected, because this is a 4K OLED panel. Kayak VR Mirage looks amazing on here, and it looks amazing in here. I'm not going to say that this doesn't look good. What I'm talking about is PCVR streaming on here could be running a lot better, because of the fact that I've compared this to other headsets like Play for Dream, which we'll be doing a video on, like I said, later today. You guys will see that go up as well, with comparisons to the headset, and they're running the same sock and everything. And this is running at lower bit rate. It's running at 200 instead of 600. It's running at the quality that's a little bit not as good as the one we were using before. This is HVAC 10-bit as opposed to the H.264 Plus, and this is running still worse, because I'm getting 60 milliseconds right now instead of getting, or 60, sometimes spiking up to like 75-ish, and that's for a game that runs similarly on other headsets with higher bit rate, with higher settings, sitting at 45 milliseconds instead. So obviously there's some issues going on here with this headset, with Google XR and optimizing this stuff. It's obviously early days, but like I said, you guys wanted to see this stuff, so I'm reporting it to you how it is day one. And I will make a follow-up video to show you guys how this continues to evolve, because I'm sure virtual desktop is on top of this, and the devs got goat and does a really good job updating this, but we all need to see how it's running today before you go spend your money. So can you run PCVR right now? Sure. Right now you can run HVAC 10-bit, and it's running at godlike settings. I'm running everything maxed out, and of course if I lower these settings completely and I take off godlike mode and I start lowering things even more, of course you'll get this to run a lot better. But that's besides the point. The point is that my equipment, my network, my 2 GB LAN, my everything being wired up, and my Wi-Fi 7 router, I got those things running really well at higher settings on other headsets. So there's no reason for a headset like this, Galaxy XR, to run at least equally as good as that one, unless if we have underlying issues like are obviously being present right now. So right now we're running at 72 milliseconds, and that's what's going on. But you can tell HVAC 10-bit is definitely much smoother than the other one, even though it just glitched out. Oh, there we go, we're back. So it's definitely much smoother, and it looks fantastic in here. I'm not going to say this looks like crap or anything. It looks fucking amazing, because it's still PCVR. And this is how I'm using it right now, because HVAC 10-bit is my only option. I sure as hell can't use H.264 at 600 megabits max bit rate because it runs like garbage on here. I have, even though it runs great on my other headset. But yeah, let's go ahead and exit out of this game. Let's go ahead and try an even simpler game that I have tried for testing. And then I'll also show you guys Half-Life Alyx as well, just because that's a game everyone always likes to talk about. But I just want to quickly show you 11 table tennis just for a second, because this is a game that obviously tests the latency on these headsets when you're running stuff like this for comparison's sake. And I'm going to show you guys. Obviously, I'm sitting down right now. We're not going to fully play a game. I'm just checking the latency, because this game is not going to be playable if it's getting high latency. So right here, I'm running the game. You have my paddle in my hand, and it is again getting about 58 milliseconds right now. Here's the ball in my left hand, and you can see there's no, oh, it just jumped to 75 milliseconds just for doing that. And it's jumping up again. Now it went to 80 milliseconds. I can't hit this. There's no way that I can play this game. It doesn't matter the fact that I'm sitting down. I can't hit this ball because if you're over 50 milliseconds, anything over 50 is you're gonna feel the latency. Not running well on here at all. This is not a game that you would want to play with these settings the way that Virtual Desktop is running currently. Again, with the spikes going from 55 to 75 to sometimes 80 on this game. No matter how good I think I am at this game, this ain't happening. So we're gonna go ahead and exit this game. We're gonna go to Half-Life Alyx now, just to show you guys that as well. And I'm gonna have Half-Life Alyx on here. Half-Life Alyx is set to Ultra because that's what it's always set at with my 5090. And again, with the same render resolution that I always have, and with the max bit rate and everything. It looks fantastic because PCVR, Half-Life Alyx, it always looks amazing. I'm just going to go ahead and load the same section that I always load here, that I'm kind of paused in Half-Life Alyx to always showcase the differences on all of these PCVR headsets that I have. So I'm pressing trigger to start, and currently right now we are getting 75, 85 milliseconds of latency, down to 55. Again, the problem is that this is just not consistent. So I can play this right now. It's not horrible. Like it's sitting at, like I said, it's spiking from 55 to 80 sometimes. But who would want to play Half-Life Alyx? It looks amazing visually. Like, this looks fantastic. It could look even better if I was able to change that codec from HVAC 10-bit back to H.264 and change the bit rate to 600. But still, you're going to look at this and still be amazed compared to what you can play, on PCVR. This looks amazing, and the colors and the OLEDs look great. And it looks fantastic. The tracking isn't too bad, keeping up with everything, but the latency is just not there. When you need to do something, it's gonna spaz out on you. Right now, the latency on Half-Life Alyx is jumping from the same thing as before, 55 to 80, depending on what is going on and how I'm moving my head. And there it goes. It's just spiked up to 80 by moving my head. Now to 70, now to 74, to 90 there when I move my head like that. And you can't even move your head in a circle without this thing spazzing out. So, and that's just issues I don't have on the Quest 3 wirelessly PCVR streaming, and those are issues that I don't also have on the Play for Dream headset. So it's obviously something that is an issue. It's obviously something that needs to be figured out. And gotta say that 5 gigahertz is something that I have to lower my Wi-Fi to connect to on this headset on Galaxy XR, which I don't have to do on the Quest 3, and I don't have to do on my Play for Dream that supports Wi-Fi 7 on the Play for Dream, and it runs great on 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi. So there's just multiple issues going on Virtual Desktop and on Google XR right now, and this is just kind of scratching the surface. So let's go ahead and exit out of Half-Life Alyx right now. So again, yeah, PCVR streaming is with Virtual Desktop is just not running great right now. And like I mentioned before, this is obviously not like the be-all end-all. I will make an updated video. I will post a comment on this video, look for a pinned comment underneath. As soon as I have an update on when this stuff is fixed, I will let you guys know, and I will make a new video showcasing PCVR. But I know a lot of you guys have been asking, and I don't want you guys to think I'm ignoring you on purpose with all those comments that I got, and thank you guys for watching all those previous videos. It's just that, like, this stuff is not working well, and it's working a lot better on all my other headsets that I have with wireless PCVR, and it's just not great. So, like, can you get PCVR streaming on here working decently on Virtual Desktop? Yeah, you could, by lowering a bunch of settings and getting them. You could lower it more than I have right now, and maybe then your milliseconds won't jump to 85 like it is right now for me, from 55 to 85 just sitting here in the Steam Home VR menu, and it will run even better for you. But you shouldn't have to lower those settings. That's kind of the point. If you have a similar setup like me, and you have a 5090, and you have a Wi-Fi 7 router, we shouldn't have to turn off 6 gigahertz Wi-Fi, even though that's just a temporary thing. We shouldn't have to go to HVAC 10-bit instead of, the H.264 Plus to get that to run a lot better. Those are things we obviously shouldn't have to do. And even when we do that stuff, this is still not running as good as other platforms that I have that are running at those higher settings. So obviously something here is amiss. It could be a combination of a lot of things. Virtual desktop may need some more updates. Google XR obviously just came out. They obviously probably have like throttling issues that apparently virtual desktop is alluding to, that they're working with Google team to kind of fix. So there's a lot of things it could be, but the point is, to us, it's just not working well. And that's obviously what is going on right now in the state of wireless PCVR streaming on Samsung's Google XR. It's very unfortunate. I hope that I was hoping that this was going to be a fun video to make right now, but obviously, like, I had a bunch of games ready to show you guys. I was going to show you guys the new Wanderer game. I was going to show you guys Reach and, a bunch of other things on here, but I'm not going to sit here and show you guys a game that, like, it just doesn't run well. Like, you guys are going to obviously hate it if I show you stuff like that. So, like, obviously I just showed you 3 examples of what this looks like on here just to show you guys how well a game could run, but obviously it's not running well right now, so there's nothing we can do about that. So yeah, look forward to a future video on this and updates on how this stuff progresses. But right now, obviously PCVR streaming, this is not the headset to buy for that, at least not for the time being. But obviously I'll keep you guys updated when things change, because I'm sure this stuff could change as soon as I drop this video, for all we know. But we'll see what happens over time, and I will make an updated video for you guys. And I hopefully you guys appreciate that I tried to make this video for you guys, and I held out as long as possible on purpose to see if anything changed over the last few days, but it's just not great. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, as always, leave those questions down below. If not, thank you guys for watching. Till next time.